Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the What Shara Made podcast. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and hello if you're a new viewer. Thanks for joining me. Now today I've got a big pile of whips and FOs, exciting I know, and I think I might just dive straight on in to my whips. Now my first whip, you may remember me showing you this yarn a little while ago. The Spicy Homemaker, Melissa, from the Spicy Homemaker podcast, hello Melissa, ran a really cool swap, mini skein swap with an indie dyer called Bohemia Fibers, where we all gave the dyer a photo of something that we loved, and she dyed yarn to match the colours in our photos, which is really awesome. And then there was a group of 10 of us, and we all got a mini skein from everyone else's skein that was dyed to their picture. And I ordered some full skeins of my colour because I loved it so much, and I've started making myself another layer cake cardigan, which is the same as this one that I've got on actually. This one's made in linen. And this is the one that I've started so far. That's a reasonably good representation of the colours. And I'm actually using both skeins at the same time because, as you can see, one is a lot darker than the other one. They're quite different, aren't they? Or is it just, no, they're very different. That's a lot more blue and that's a lot more sort of aqua-y and lighter. But it doesn't matter because they're working out really well together, doing 2 rows of each. And it's not really coming up in stripes as such, so that's alright. And I wouldn't care if it was coming up in stripes anyway, I'd still love it. I started this last night and I've made a fair bit of progress. I'm still a bit skeptical that I've chosen the right size. I know when I made this one I had to do quite a bit of maths to figure out the size I was going to make, and I know I had to go down a couple of needle sizes because this linen yarn's really quite fine. It's listed as a fingering weight, but it's not at all. It's much lighter. And I started this cardigan that I'm wearing so long ago that I can't actually remember what I did or what I had to adjust or what size I was making or anything like that. And I think I started it maybe in 2014 and I finished it earlier this year. So yeah, I'd forgotten all the adjustments I'd made. So when I was starting this new one last night, I couldn't quite remember all the adjustments I'd made, but I think I did a few calculations and I think it's going to be all right. But I guess the best way to find out once I've gotten this far is to get down to closing the arms and then trying it on, seeing what it's like then. So that's that whip. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to having it finished so I can wear it, of course. Just pop those down here. And my other whip is for a knit along that's going on with the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. Hello, Eric. And Eric from the Sticks Plus Twine podcast is having an exploration station cal, and the exploration station pattern is by Stephen West. And you'll remember seeing the first phase of this because the way Eric is running the knit along is the same as the original mystery knit along was run by Stephen West, so you do a section at a time. So this is section 1, and now I've done section 2, which is the brioche section. You can see there. I love it. So I wonder if I can get a close-up of that. This might prove to be a little bit tricky. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's actually a few little mistakes in there. And I fixed some of them, just where I don't know, dropped a stitch or something. I'm not entirely sure what I did, but anyway. And others, I'd gotten too far to fix it. And it's like, let's leave it. No. So that's that one. And that's coming along quite nicely. I think phase 3 has already started in the knit along, so I've got a little bit of catching up to do. Now, my next whip is actually a half object. This here, a bit too long for my sock blockers, but you get the idea. And I don't know if you can see the sparkle in that, but this yarn is indeed sparkly and has fluff on it. But it is sparkly. And it's nicely sparkly. It's not outrageous, but it's definitely sparkly. And you may remember, if you've been watching for a while, I dyed some yarn to make my mum a pair of socks for her birthday as per her request. And I did it on my sparkle base. Really can't tell from this ratty old cake. And she was really excited when she saw the yarn that I dyed for it, and I started knitting them Sunday? I'm not really sure, it doesn't matter anyway. I've done one. And I've tried it on her, and it fits perfectly, so that's good. And I hadn't intended this, but it turns out I've used the blueberry waffle pattern. That wasn't what I was doing. I was just knitting a pattern from my head, and then I saw someone else's sock on Instagram and thought, oh, that's exactly like what I'm doing, and then realised that what I was doing is exactly what happens in the blueberry waffle pattern. So I guess that's what I've done inadvertently, but I love it. And this is the first time I've used that stitch pattern, and I seriously love it. It's really enjoyable to knit. It's quick, easy. There's not too much counting involved, nothing like that. And this sock knit up so quickly that I think I definitely have to make myself a pair as well. And you would be familiar that I usually use the Fish Lips Kiss heel, but my mum seems to wear through those pretty quick. Because if you're familiar with the Fish Lips Kiss heel, there's really only one layer of stocking stitch, and that's not the hardiest of stitches. And while I love doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel and it fits my foot really well, it's not the most hard wearing heel. And mum seems to just burn through them. So I've done a heel flap and gusset heel for this one, and I hadn't done a heel like this for, I think, well over a year, and I forgot how much I love it. And it looks so beautiful, and it fits so nicely on mum's foot, and you get that extra bit of, it's a bit more hardy around there. It's exactly the same on the bottom. There's not a whole lot you can do about that, but it's a bit more hardy on the back of the heel, which tends to be where mum wears the socks through quicker, so hopefully that will help, I think. And I think I'm going to do a few more of my socks with the old flap and gusset, because I enjoyed this so much. I forgot how much I like it, and I like the way it looks and everything. And by the time you finish the gusset, you're like a good third of the way down the foot if you've got tiny feet like me. And my mum, same size feet. So I think I'll continue doing that. I really like it. It just looks so pretty, doesn't it? And I don't know what I did different with this sock, but I didn't end up with any little holes here. So that was another bonus. I really enjoyed making this sock, and I think mum's going to be really pleased with them when she can finally wear them. Her birthday is towards the end of April, but I think I'll just give them to her early because I've made her 2 other pairs of 3 other pairs actually, and she's worn through one pair and I've darned them, and then she's worn through them again and I've darned them again, and now there's like more darning than there is sock. So I think it's time that those ones, you know, went to sock heaven. And I think she could really use a few more pairs, so she knows she's getting this pair, but I think I'm secretly going to knit her another pair that she doesn't know about and give them to those ones to her on her actual birthday, and she can have these ones as soon as I finish them. They're knitting up beautifully and quick, so I'm really enjoying that project. Now I'm actually going to move on to some finished objects, and because it's been a little while since my last podcast, I've got a couple. And I don't know if I had, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a helicopter flying over my house. Anyway, you may remember in the last episode, I had started a shawl with the minis from the Spicy Homemaker Bohemian Fibres swap that I was talking about earlier. And I'm pretty sure I declared in that that episode that I wasn't entirely in love with that shawl. Well, it turns out I wasn't in love with it at all. So I undid it and I started a completely different design, and I'm so glad I did, because this one is brilliant. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to make another one. So let me show you. There we go. It's the same on the other side. See? So, this here is the Hello Moon shawl, and I'm not even going to attempt to say the dyer's name out loud because it's a name I've never read before, and I couldn't even guess how to pronounce it. So I'm just going to put it on the bottom of the screen here, hopefully. And it's an awesome pattern. It is really good. It was super easy. It was written reasonably clearly. There was only one point where I sort of had to guess a little bit. It is a bit more like a recipe than a dedicated pattern. But that's fine, because then it's really versatile. And you could use any weight yarn and just go till you run out kind of thing. So I love those sort of patterns. And I'm considering doing one with some hand spun, because usually with your hand spun you've got a limited amount and you're never going to get the same thing again. So you want a pattern where you can just use up your yarn until it's gone. And that's what this pattern is like. I super love it. If I was to do it again, I would actually do something different at the top here. I think I may have misunderstood part of the instructions, and I should have done something differently at the top here that I didn't do. It's no big deal, but if I was to do it again, which I will do, I would change a little bit of what I did at the top there. But it's knit side to side. I'm sure you can figure that out. And it's beautiful. So this yarn here is the Indicita Baby Alpaca, fingering weight, obviously, an undyed creamy colour. And it is literally like a little cloud or like a little duckling or something. It is so beautiful and soft, and my dog Rosie is mad for alpaca, and she has taken a real shine to this scarf. And I laid it over her. She was on the couch next to me the other night, and I just finished sewing in the ends on this, and I laid it over her, and she just snuggled into it and then started snoring. I was like, oh, okay. So it has been worn by Rosie, so it's, you know, that's all right. It hasn't been blocked yet though, so I will give it a wash and block it, but I've already been wearing it, so yeah, totally love it. And these are all the minis from, well, not all of them, I think I didn't use 3 of them, but I'll use those in a different project because they didn't quite fit the colour spread. But this is an excellent pattern to use if you want to incorporate a bunch of little minis that you've got in swaps and other places, because these little wedges are perfect mini size. So that's that, and I really love it. I really love it. And my next finished object is actually an older FO, but I'm wondering if someone could maybe give me some advice about it. This is the piece. It's a little crocheted vest, and you see it's got some cable owls there with little button eyes. But you'll also notice it's a bit of an odd shape, and it kind of just is the right width, and then of course these cables have sucked in the waist, and kids don't tend to have smaller tummies than they do chests. It's usually the opposite. So I want it to stretch out, and I have blocked this like pretty aggressively, like really aggressively, like I really like and then when I unpinned it, it just went straight back again. So wet blocking. It is alpaca, and I do notice that alpaca doesn't really care much for blocking, and it just does what it's going to do. I didn't initially think that that was the case, but on further experimentation I can see very much that alpaca, you can block it, but it doesn't always stay where you've blocked it. Wool, it'll just stay where you block it, but alpaca, just like, yeah. So does anyone have any clues or tips on how I can get this waist area to stretch out a little further so that it does stretch if I pull it. It's not like it's going to be constricting the child's tummy or anything, but it just won't stay stretched out. So for the purposes, it's really just for the purposes of display that I need some way of keeping the waist out. It's actually not looking too ridiculous there, but it's on the floor now. But it could be better. Once a kid's wearing it, no big deal, but it's actually made for a display, so it needs to sit up. If you've got any hot tips, I would love to hear them. And my next finished object is something that I've made before, but I seriously loved making it, so I've made another one. It is the beeswax hat by Amy Vandelar, and she is a genius. This hat is seriously amazing. The pattern is seriously amazing. So let us see. It's really cool. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh goodness. So I've made this using a ball of Click-Eaton Superfine, and I used one ball, and I literally had less than 10 centimeters of yarn left when I finished it. I was playing some serious yarn chicken, and I was really concerned, and I did that weird thing where you start to knit faster towards the end so you don't run out of yarn. Obviously that's completely ridiculous, but that's what I did. And when I finished it, and I literally had about that much yarn left, I was just like, yes, high-fiving myself. It was so great. So I made it in this colour because I just happened to have a ball of this hanging around in the stash, and it's been sitting in my stash for about a year, and I thought it was about time I used it, so that's all cool. And what I really wanted to do was make this hat out of a mustardy yellow, more of a honey yellow, to go with the honeycomb pattern. But I didn't have a ball of that. Now I have a ball of that. So My next one of that hat is going to be in this colour. And that's been my intention ever since I came across this pattern. So I'll be happy to do it. It's actually not showing up quite as that's better. It's a real beautiful honey yellow yummy colour. It's one of my favourite colours actually, this particular yarn. And it's the Quick Eaten Superfine Merino, which is really nice. So what I'm thinking, just to be on the safe side, is that I might do slightly, maybe 1 or 2 rows less in the band, that bit, so that I've definitely got enough to knit all the way up. Fingers crossed, because it would be such a bummer to have like 1 or 2 rows left and have to go and buy a whole new ball just for that. Hopefully I can get it done, because it's not the sort of pattern where you could just skip the last few rows and cinch them up. It won't work like that, so we'll see, fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to that though. This one is for the beanie festival that I'm doing. If you watch me regularly, you'll know that I'm building up a bunch of beanies to enter into a beanie festival that is happening in my state. And I think I might end up keeping this one for myself. We'll see, we'll see. And my next finished object is by Libby Johnson of Truly Myrtle, and this is the Koru hat. And Koru is the baby ferns, their little coils. You know when a fern is a baby and it's all curled up in a little beautiful spiral, that's called a koru, K-O-R-U. And this pattern is meant to represent that, and I think it does a pretty good job of representing it. It's a Maori word for baby fern, and I got this yarn that I made it with the last time I was in New Zealand, so I thought that was a fitting pair, this yarn with this pattern. And it was just plain white undyed, and I have dyed it this pale green colour, and I really love it. It's really beautiful. It's quite a rustic yarn. It almost has a bit of a hand spun feel to it, so that was, I think it was a really nice match. And my dad's side of the family are all from New Zealand, so I thought it was a nice little connection there. And I think this one is going to go to the Beanie Festival as well. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided. I do really love it and I might keep it, but we'll see. I don't know if you can tell here, there's very subtle striping on there, on the body of the hat, and that is pretty cool. I haven't changed yarns obviously, it's just a stitch effect, and I really love it. Really love it. What I don't love about this, and I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult to adjust, is that the hat's knit in the round, of course, and the beginning of the round, I haven't done a very good job of it, and it's probably nothing to do with the pattern, but I don't like the way it worked out. The join of the round is right here, it's pretty obvious, and that is right at the beginning of the beautiful Koru patterning, and so that's probably going to end up at the front of your head. And if that bit was around the back, who cares, doesn't matter. But because it's going to be right on the front, unless of course I guess you could wear it sort of off to this, oh god, that doesn't look great, does it? Off to the side a bit, and then it's sort of back there. Oh, I guess so. Guess you're not going to wear that like bang on the front of your head, are you? But oh, it's blowing out a little bit. But that's my Koru hat. So if I was going to make one in the future, oh dear, I'm going to make one in the future, which I probably will because it's a beautiful pattern and I love the finished result. I might shift the beginning of the round to somewhere else on the hat, just so it's not right there next to the pretty part. So, yeah. Never mind. And that is all my whips and all my finished objects. And I've got a couple of future cast-ons. I'm about to start a knit along with the Restless Knitter. She's got a new pattern coming out tomorrow called Persuading Jane, and it's a little cropped v-neck cardigan with short sleeves. I don't think I'm going to do short sleeves on mine. I'm not really into short-sleeved cardigans. Totally fine style, they're just not for me. I don't get a lot of wear out of them. If it's cold enough for me to wear a cardigan, it's because my arms are cold. That's why I'm wearing a cardigan. So I need sleeves, and I don't really fancy the look of something long sleeved under a short sleeve cardigan. I totally don't mind it at all on other people, it's not for me. So I'm going to attempt, I don't know if the pattern will allow this, but I'm going to attempt to do 3/4 sleeves on mine. It might not work, but we'll give it a go. I'm sure I could adjust it to make it work, but we'll see. It's a really cute pattern, and hopefully I will have started it by the time I film the next episode, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And I've just dyed some yarn this morning to make that cardigan, and it's a really beautiful deep ruby red, and it's on my sparkle base of fingering weight yarn, and it's gonna look really fabulous, I think, I hope. Now I've got some massive thank yous because I've had some amazing shout outs on some of my favourite podcasts, and it's such a thrill, it really is. Just watching away, and then like, did they say my name? It's pretty cool. Yeah, bit of a fangirl moment happening. First of all, I got an awesome shout out from Eric from the Sticks Plus Twine podcast, and his podcast is one of my favourites. It's one that I get really excited about when I see it in my subscription feed on YouTube. I'm like, yeah. And I love sitting down and knitting with Eric and having a cup of tea, and it's really awesome. He gave me an awesome shout out, and we've been chatting on Ravelry and stuff, and he used to live in Melbourne where I live, and we had a good chat about that, and it's so nice. If you haven't watched the Sticks Plus Twine podcast, I highly recommend it. Dash on over right now as soon as you finish watching this and check out Eric's podcast, and maybe you even want to join in with the Exploration Station Cal. It's not too late to join in. I'm sure you'll be able to catch up with it. So hello and thank you, Eric. I really was quite excited when I heard you say my name. And the next big thank you is for the Grocery Girls. They have the funnest podcast. It's a real joy to spend my time with them while I'm knitting. Sit down with Tracy and Jodie, and they're really funny and sweet. And in the last episode, they got into a fit of the giggles. And if there's something I love on TV or podcasts, it's when someone's trying to keep a straight face and they've got the giggles and that's it. It's particularly hilarious when it happens on a news broadcast or something. I don't know. I find that really, really enjoyable. Anyway, they put in a little blooper reel at the end of their last episode of them having, like, trouble breathing because they were laughing so much, and that's excellent. I really enjoyed that. So Hello, Tracy and Jodie. Thank you so much for this shout out. And if you haven't watched the Grocery Girls podcast, tune in because they are a lot of fun. And I've got one more thing to do, which is an announcement for a giveaway. And I'm just going to pause here just for a second. So, because it's the last day of March, I'm going to be announcing the winner of the Make a Difference March Cal, which was a charity Cal where if you were making something for charity, pop it in the FO thread and you would go into the draw to win a skein of my hand-dyed yarn. And this is called Cicada, and it's a bright green with a dark green and emerald and some speckles, and it is on my sparkle base. I don't know if you can see those sparkles there. Pretty awesome. I seriously love these. I wish I was keeping up, but I'm not. And I don't need to use my random number generator to find a winner because only one person posted in that FO thread. But boy, did they post. Lovely Veronica, you're the winner, Veronica, has posted so many beautiful things that she has made for charity, and they're just gorgeous. They really are. And she's done such a beautiful job on them, and she's entered every single one into the FO thread. I'm so impressed with your hard work, Veronica. Good on you. And I think your beautiful pieces will really make a difference to someone in need. I'm really sure of that because they're so beautiful. So this skein of yarn is coming your way, Veronica. You're a very deserving winner. And if you could just contact me on Ravelry and let me know your postal address, I'll pop this in the mail to you. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I hope you love green as much as I do. And I haven't given you a weather report. It is seriously glorious today. It's pure blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. There's a teeny tiny light breeze. Glorious sunshine. It is not hot, it is not cold, it is perfect outside. Just beautiful. And I'm really loving it. It is freezing at night now and really cold in the mornings. When I get up, it was about 2 degrees when I went to bed last night, 2 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, let me tell you, because it probably doesn't mean much to a lot of people when I say things in Celsius, but that's true autumn weather here. Freezing overnight, freezing in the morning, and then it just turns into a glorious, glorious day. It's usually pretty foggy in the mornings as well. We get some pretty intense fog here. And we're all used to it. We're used to the fog, but people from out of town, when they, like, especially people from the city, we don't get fog very often, experience our fog. They're like, what? Like, how do you, like, do anything? And I'm just like, I don't know, you just do. I love it. I really love the fog, actually. I love walking around in the fog, and sometimes it's a bit dangerous because people can't see you, but, you know, you can be sensible. So if we have 2 degrees Celsius, it's about 35 Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's pretty cold. I think that's cold. And yeah, I'm loving it. I got a little bit of a story to tell you about fog. Years ago, I was in Ireland travelling around, and it was summer when I was there, and the person I was travelling with and I had been to see some beautiful historic site. It was amazing. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were asking a young woman in a cafe what the best way was to get to the next place we were going to. And she said, you want to go over these hills and up that road, and then gave us the directions, and we're like, yep, sweet, thank you, got it. She's like, but I wouldn't go now. And we're like, what do you mean? And she goes, because it'll be foggy and you'll get lost. And we're like, oh, it's summer and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're inland. I think we'll be right. And she's like, no, it's really foggy. It'll get really foggy up there about now. And we're like, and we told her where she was from, not that it would have meant anything to her. And like, we know fog, all right? We're quite familiar with fog. And she's like, no, really, don't go up there. And we're like, we're from the valley. We know fog. Anyway, we ignored her like good dumb tourists. And we should have listened, because as we got up this road into the hills of exactly where we were going, it was sort of, you can imagine it, Irish countryside and moors around. It was beautiful. But as we were driving up there, we could literally see the fog rolling in like you'd imagine in a movie. Like, it was just rolling in like this, and we're like, oh. And it only took a few minutes and we were completely enveloped in fog. And it wasn't regular fog, it was mental. We couldn't even see the front of the bonnet in the car, like the front of the car through the windscreen. And by this stage, we wanted to pull over, but we couldn't see the road to know whether we were on or off it. So, yeah, no, we're idiots. We were totally idiots. We should have listened, but apparently we knew better. So it's all our fault. I ended up having to open the car door and literally like fan away the fog from the ground so I could see if we were still on the road or on the grass, because there was no edge to the road as such. It just went from road into the moors. Idiots. Anyway, I'm like got car door open, fanning the fog away from the ground. So I'm like, yeah, left. No, my left, you're right. And doing this, and we're like, this is ridiculous. And we thought, if there's any other idiots up here like us, we won't know, and we're going to crash into them. So we decided to do our best to pull over. And I can't remember why, but I decided to get out of the car, I think to check something. Trying to figure out if we're going to be safe if we just sat here and waited for the fog to dissipate, not knowing how long it was going to dissipate. Is it going to hang around all night? Are we stuck here forever? Am I lost in the moors? Am I going to start hearing the sound of the Baskervilles in a minute? You know, all those sensible things. And as I got out and I was this is why I got out, because we couldn't find the road again, and we were just on the grass at this stage. And I got out and I was literally down on my hands and knees, feeling around on the ground, trying to find where the road was again so we could get back on it. I think we'd intended to decide to maybe try and drive out of the fog. I don't know. Whatever we decided, I'm sure it was dumb. And as I'm feeling my way along this mossy ground, completely blind because of the fog, I literally couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I hear, meh. I'm like, meh. And it turned out we'd driven into a massive herd, very slowly, no one was hurt, driven into a massive herd of gorgeous sheep that were just looking at us like, what are you idiots doing here? And we're like, we're from Australia. And we were just surrounded by sheep in the middle of moors, covered in fog. And we waited it out for, I don't know, maybe an hour. And it did clear a little bit, and we were able to see that we're only like maybe a metre away from the road. Got back on the road and drove off, but idiots. So when you're travelling and a local gives you some advice, take the advice, take it seriously. They know what they're talking about, and you don't. So yeah, that's a hot tip for new travellers. And my next regular segment is tea time. And today's tea is an amazing caramel brownie tea, and it's as delicious as it sounds. I'm serious, it is good. I'm addicted to it. And this beautiful handmade mug, isn't it just beautiful? I love it so much. And I got this at a market that I went to, not last weekend, maybe the weekend before, with my sister down in Gippsland, and which is far east of my state. it's just beautiful. It's made by a young woman named Tina, and you can find her on Instagram under Clay by Tina. She's pretty awesome. She was real fun actually. And she had so many beautiful things. I just wanted to buy one of everything, but I restrained myself and just bought a teacup. And I'm kicking myself now because I love this cup so much that I should have just bought everything that she had, like all her teacups. Never mind. Hopefully I'll encounter her again at another market one day. This tea is beautiful. Seriously loving it. And that cup is just gorgeous. And I think that's actually it now. I think I've covered everything. Keep entering your beautiful FOs into the FO thread for the year-long stash busting craft along. And if you need some inspiration on what to make next, check out that thread. There are so many absolutely gorgeous things in there. And I just love it. I love watching that thread grow. It is amazing, and good on everyone for using up your stash. It's brilliant. I think this year has been my best year ever for not buying new yarn. It is still only March, so there's a long way to go for me to mess this up, but I'm doing pretty well working through my stash. Yeah, I am. I hope you are too. Alright, I better let you go. I've got to head off now, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.